And just like that, he was live. So a warm welcome to those watching wherever you are. Hope you've all had a nice Easter weekend. Hope you've hope the break has been good. I'm sitting here this evening. The sort of evening sun is just beginning to disappear, but it's been not a bad day, I suppose. And yeah, I just wanted to. So we've got lots of stuff I want to talk to you about tonight. You know the topics. We're going to talk about Boris Johnson. We're going to talk about Boris and Partygate. Want to have a chat about that because I think that's we with so much of the stuff that goes on, we lose track of some of the big stuff. I want to talk about the UK government's strategy when it comes to dealing with illegal migrants. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. With Rwanda very much in the spotlight. And then we're going to talk about Joseph Biden, the most legitimate president there's ever been, ever. Most loved, most respected. Yeah, Joe Biden. We're going to talk about him. And Zelensky's suggestion that Joe might want to fly to Ukraine. Oh, I really, really hope he does. But we'll get to that as well. Well, we've got all the things. We want to talk about the Easter Bunny. Got to talk about the Easter Bunny. Got to chat about that there. Yeah, we got some video stuff to let you play. So thanks very much for everyone for being here. I see you all. I see Chris Keeve Davies. Yeah, Chris Keeve. If you don't say Keeve, I'm sorry. That makes you an enemy of the state. So see all you people saying Kiev, just watch out. Don't forget our sponsors in the button below, nothingbut.co.uk, where you can get your natural immunity. It doesn't have to come from the end of a needle. Am I allowed to say that? Who knows? Actually, we're streaming this one, of course, on the YouTubes. We are on the YouTubes, friends. I've decided to keep coming back to the YouTubes until the YouTubes finally strike me down. Whenever that happens. But in the meantime, of course, guys, if you do enjoy the content on the YouTubes, you can get the same content on the Gettrs and in the Rumbles, except the content over there is completely unmoderated. Is completely well, I was gonna say unmoderated. Well, yeah, I suppose it is. It's raw, isn't it? Actually, you can say what you think, but you can't say what you think on the YouTubes. That's why I'm saying Joe Biden is the most popular president ever. So before we get into the main topic, what I want to do is I want to just bring up another one of the streams here so I can see all the stuff that you guys are saying. So let me just see how I can do that. Shall you? This is where I become very, very cack-handed and have to do two things at once, which is very, very tricky for me. Yes, I see the YouTube here. And of course, as is always the way, folks, as is always the way, it's a Monday night. Yeah, it's a Monday night. And there's other people putting out their podcasts and their content. And good luck to them. That's all fine by me. It would be dull if we were all the same. I don't, hi, Claude. I don't pretend to be the same as everyone else. I follow my own direction, and I hope you guys do as well. Just before we start, I wanted to say this. Actually, I was watching an interesting program on TV there. This is one of David's many distractions down rabbit holes. Hi, Shackleton. By the way, you're very welcome on the Gettrs. I was watching a program with the former Conservative minister, actually, Michael Portillo. You'll probably be familiar with him. He does these very good sort of train journey programs. And he was doing one there this evening because he's got his family, he's got Spanish heritage, right? So he was traveling across Spain. Anyway, here's the thing. Yes, Spiver, I agree with you. On Gettr, we get to speak the whole truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. On YouTube's, not so much. Back to Michael Portillo. Anyway, so as some of you guys would know, George Orwell, aka Eric Blair, the great author, one of the greatest authors of all time, in my opinion, author of Animal Farm, author of 1984, and The Road to Wigan Pier, and loads of stuff. I've read so much of George Orwell's work. But anyway, he actually met up, Portillo that is, met up with George Orwell's son in one of the trenches where Orwell was fighting in the Spanish Civil War back in the day. And the thing about what I was fascinated about this was, which made me think, it's quite reflective, really, I suppose. But my point is this: they were talking about how Orwell had been influenced by what happened in the Spanish Civil War, right? They were talking about this. And he was undoubtedly influenced by what happened in the Spanish Civil War. But he was influenced by something else. Can you guess what that was? Yeah. He was influenced by the fact that he worked for the BBC in the propaganda department of the BBC. And that's where, in 1984, the Ministry of Truth, this this nightmare monster, he based it on the BBC. Now, the BBC actually put a statue in place of George Orwell back in 2017 outside their premises. But the fact is, Orwell saw through the wickedness of the BBC, and that's part of what lies at the very heart of 1984. But here's the killer. The program I watched was on the BBC. Yeah. So the BBC were running Portillo was running a story talking about George Orwell, talking about, the things that had impacted in his creative process to write such genius works as 1984. And they missed the fact that he worked for the BBC, which would probably be maybe a little bit awkward to talk about on the BBC. Anyway, there we go. Room 101. Grant Orino says that. Yes, just seeing all you guys over. Hi, Brummy Pilgrim, Rustin, Kim, Shackleton, Claude, all the guys in the different streams. Thank you very much. I can see you all clearly. So as I say, I just wanted to talk about that. That was just interesting. BBC makes a program talking about George Orwell, ignores the fact that George Orwell's inspiration for the malignant Ministry of Truth was BBC. There you go. Maybe that's not a surprise. I'm just reading some of your comments before we kick into the main topics. Scott says he had a great day yesterday. I ate an entire Easter egg watching Rangers win. Kim says that he's read most of Orwell's books too. Illuminating. Yeah, I read them a long time ago, Kim. I read them back in my 20s, early 20s. I read most of the Orwell canon. And it stayed with me. Maybe that's why I'm the way I am. I see the world in that way. Hi, Leslie. Good to see you on the YouTubes. Good to see you in that. Right. Okay. We're gonna talk about Boris Johnson. We're gonna because you see, by the way, because we are streaming to a non-free speech platform, we gotta do a little dance. I hope you'll enjoy my little dance as we dance around the censorships and we try and get the message out. So let's Budgie Trousers. Hi, David. First time I've logged into your live. Looking for it. Hi, Budgie Trousers. It's good to see you. One of my great supporters over on my podcast channel. By the way, I hope everybody is subscribed to the podcast channel. Come what may, the podcasts go out every day, uncensored, raw, and I hope you enjoy them. Rustin, I agree with your sentiment, my friend. Hello to my friend John Gleason as well. Good to see you. I want to talk about Boris Johnson. So let's have a laugh, shall we? So can we bring up, please, the headline, first of all? Well, actually, no. Can we start off with Boris Johnson's Easter message? Yeah. You see, I thought it was the Pope who gave out Easter messages. Used to be the Queen, but or did she? Not sure. Anyway, some such person. But Boris had an Easter message. Did you get his Easter message? Here it is. Let's hear what Boris has had to say to all of us. Take it, Boris.
Our country bursts with new life and new hope. Whether it's Christians here in the UK, loving their neighbours and carrying out the countless acts of kindness that are a hallmark of the faith. Those around the world facing fear of persecution, forced to celebrate their Saviour's rebirth in secret. And of course, the Christians of Ukraine, whether they're marking Easter today or its Orthodox equivalent later this month, for whom Christ's message of hope, the triumph of life over death and good over evil, will resonate this year perhaps more than any other. Easter tells us that there is light beyond the darkness, that beyond the suffering lies redemption. And so this Easter, будьте сильны и майте в сердце odvahu, вisi что вповайте на Господа. I wish all Christians around the world the very best for Easter.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Had Boris a stroke there towards the end? He seemed to be saying words I couldn't understand. I'm not too sure about what he was happening there, but so much in that little clip. Boris's, did you just love his Ukrainian little sort of tie-pin thing, his little blue and yellow ribbon that he had in? Oh, I was so moved about that, Boris. You reduced me to tears of mirth. And by the way, when he talks about Christians being persecuted, hey, Boris, I got a couple of questions about Christians being persecuted. What about in places like, for example, Syria, where, if I remember rightly, Boris Johnson, your government was very keen to remove the administration there, which, of course, is a pro-Christian administration. That's a bit weird, isn't it? I wonder how that would be. Hi, Billy Piper's Teeth, my friend. Good to see you on the Easter stream as well. Thank you for being here. Well, yeah, okay. So that was Boris's message. So it inspired me. It inspired me so much because he was thinking about our friends in Ukraine at this very difficult time. Chris Davey says, I've got the cheese and wine, David. So it's not a party. Exactly, it's not a party. And that's really the thing, because having had that lovely Christmas message, lovely Easter message, sorry, I get my seasons mixed up. Then we moved to the headline. So let's pick up the headline, and we're going to talk about this. Look at this. But Boris Johnson still won't admit he broke lockdown rules, despite paying a 50 quid Partygate police fine for breaking lockdown rules. Now, sorry, just in that alone, that's pure Orwellian. Just look at that sentence. He won't admit he broke the lockdown rules after paying a fine for breaking the lockdown rules. Oh my God. So that's the first thing, right? Oh, hi, Angela, by the way. Good to see you on the stream. Thanks for being here. So it's okay. So he didn't break the lockdown rules, but he paid the fine. So here's the detail on this one. Mr. Johnson remains defiant, je ne regrette rien, that no rules were broken amidst Partygate. Of course, he didn't break any rules. And his closest allies, which I imagine is about 2 or 3 people, probably including Carrie, are insisting he didn't break lockdown restrictions. Okay, why did you pay the fine? Well, because reasons. He will apologize again for Partygate before the Commons this week. I'm not sure if that's going to be tomorrow or Wednesday. I think it might be tomorrow. But he's expected to focus on Ukraine and the government's new energy plan. Oh, I bloody well bet he's going to talk about Ukraine and the government's new energy plan. And the other thing is, by the way, he could yet be getting even more fines. And of course, we have. So let's scroll down. There's some elements. This is a cracker art. I really enjoyed this. So yeah. So as you see there, he's gonna try to claim he didn't really break the lockdown rules, despite the fact that yes, he paid 50 quid. You probably paid for that. I bet that'll be claimed in expenses for breaking lockdown rules. So this guy's in complete denial. That's the point you need to understand. The Prime Minister is in denial. He is proven to have. He's broke his own rules. Now, you know, I didn't agree with the lockdown rules, and I didn't stick to the lockdown, but those people who did, and there'll be many of them perhaps watching the stream here, then, you know, if you followed the rules that he put in place, he didn't follow the rules that he put in place. He's been fined for not doing that, and he says, "Yeah, I still didn't break them." This is a serious issue. So let's scroll down a wee bit more. Because I need to confess something to you. You've heard, if you follow me, you've probably heard me talk about over the years now, Angela Rayner, the deputy leader, the redhead deputy leader of the Labour Party. Now, if we scroll down, we're going to get to Angela. I have to confess, I now agree with Angela Rayner. How can you agree with Angela Rayner? Well, because she's actually truthful in what she says. So if we get down into this article a little bit further, you're going to find, here we go. There we go. Just there. Culture. Oh, no, that's not Angela. Yeah. Labour's deputy leader, Angela Rayner. She said, this appears to be the Prime Minister's latest pathetic attempt to defend the indefensible. Yeah. Boris Johnson defied his own law and then lied and lied and lied, whilst the British public were making huge sacrifices. He was rule breaking. There's no doubt about that. Whatever else you want to say about Angela Rayner, I'm sorry, she is right on the substance of this. Now, I'm not sure if Angela wrote this or if someone else wrote it for her. That's immaterial. The point is that she's right. She's calling out the hypocrisy of the Prime Minister. He was rule breaking. And I would suggest, guys, that, any reasonable person watching this who is in any way familiar with Partygate would probably agree that it looks like Boris was... he broke the rules. He was aware of the rules. In fact, actually, there's supposed to be photographs of him opening up one of the parties, but he didn't know it was a party. Come on. This is the problem. I see somebody, Roberts, on the Gettr stream saying that he's had his family threatened. Yes, and of course, there's Tommy Robinson, who I know is doing a live stream at the same time as I am, so that's fine. I have a lot of respect for Tommy Robinson, and I support everything that he's doing with regard to exposing the grooming gangs. Right, I'm reading Billy Piper's comments on Angela Rayner. He thinks she's hot. Not sure about that, but she is certainly right in what she says. But look, don't worry about Partygate. Here we have, look, Boris and the man of the hour. Well, is he, or is Boris the man of the hour? We have, of course, our friend Zelensky. There he is in his traditional outfit. And there's Boris in a war zone. Hi, Melanie. Good to see you. There's Boris Johnson in a war zone in Kyiv. And look, he's got a suit on. As you do. That's what you do. If you go, if you're going to visit a war stream, a war zone rather, what better to put on fashionable Savile Row suit and tie? Take that now, you Russian Nazis. Although actually that's probably the wrong way of putting it. But anyway. So we have, hi Debbie, by the way, good to see you in the stream. Captain Spaulding, all you guys over on the Getters as well. I can see you in both streams. And Chris Davies makes a great comment. Boris Johnson lying. What next? Sturgeon is a man. I wouldn't know, but about that, I have nothing to say on that. I do know she was caught out breaking the rules that she imposed on the people of Scotland yesterday when she attended an indoor event without a mask. And it's only today that it's become law not to wear a mask. But don't worry about it, folks. And look, here's the serious point. So Sturgeon's been spoken to by the police. That's the end of the matter. So she gets away with it. And here we have, on this one here, this is a laugh here. Like, look at this story. This is the plot deepens. There's understood to be a particular concern to Johnson is a gathering to send off the then director of comms, a guy called Lee Kane, back in the November 13th, 2020. So it wasn't just June 2020. We're now in November 2020. Boris is still having parties. Apparently, so the Prime Minister is believed to have gathered staff around the press office table, which contained bottles of alcohol, before toasting Mr. Kane, all captured by a photographer. But he didn't know it. Look, if this happens all the time, people do these things, they don't know about it. They don't realize that they're breaking the laws that they made for us. And if we had to try to do that then, which I did, I'll be honest, hands up. Yeah, I did. David, surely to goodness you paid attention closely to the government and followed their every procedure. Yes, I followed great attention to the government and then ignored their every request. and I'll continue to do that if I disagree with those requests. Debbie says, I don't believe any of her governments or their establishments. Absolutely, Debbie. No sane person whatsoever believes that. So I think Dominic Cummings has probably got these photos, by the way. So Downing Street knows it. St. Boris might end up getting more fines. And I wondered, what do you reckon? Do you think he'll get more fines and he'll keep denying that he did anything wrong at all? I mean, this is the equivalent of someone getting, I don't know, losing your driving license, right? Because you keep racking up points for dangerous driving. And then when you lose your license, you can say, well, I don't even understand why this has happened to me. I'll tell you why it happened to you. It happened to you because you broke the regulations that you put in place. That's why. Now, friends, if you can't believe Boris Johnson over this question, what can you believe him over? And that's really my big point here, I suppose. It's the sense of lack of belief. Listen, I don't believe. I'm with Debbie over on the Gettr stream here. Debbie says she doesn't believe any of her governments, nor do I. I don't believe a word that comes out of Downing Street, out of Westminster. These people are serial misleaders, and sometimes they tell the truth. Sometimes they tell lies. Sometimes, but most of the time it's in between. It's half truths, which are worse actually. And I agree with Clot Shot Not, who says that Boris is a globalist World Economic Forum tosser, which is rather polite, but yeah, it's pretty close to the mark. So Billy Piper says over on YouTube's that those mostly rabidly criticizing him don't care a toss about COVID breaches. They're still upset about the UK leaving the EU. That's what this is all about. Well, it's not, is it? Well, not in my case. I'm happy. Well, I don't even think we've left the EU, by the way. That's my new position. Should we do a stream in that sometime? Why I don't think we've actually left the EU, right? Even though we did vote for it. But no, it's not actually Billy Piper. Well, in the case of Labour, look, what you have to understand in politics, it moves along. They're all hypocrites. 100% they're all hypocrites. 100%. And they opportunistically snipe. Yes, I get that as well. I understand that. But my annoyance with the government is that they are serial liars. Okay? That's how it is. And I'm betting most of the guys watching this probably would go along with me in that respect. Kim says it's a bit like Bill Clinton saying she had sex with me, I didn't have sex with Monica. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The Clintonian defense, isn't that right? So it's look, you know, it's just sad that Boris Johnson is using the Ukraine situation to avoid the awkwardness around Partygate. Chris Davies says to me, David, forget about the party and get your booster. Have you all had your boosters? I totally recommend you get your booster. I have to say that because I'm on YouTube. Let me be clear, YouTube. I fully support the mass vaccination of the world. I fully support it, and I'm not going to be one of these anti-science bigots who criticize it. No. That thought would never enter my head. Booster. Get your booster. Don't know about that, by the way, if you see the latest stats. But anyway, we can't go there. So Boris Johnson using Ukraine to deflect from his own pathetic, self-inflicted problems here in the UK. Come on. I mean, it's the manipulation of the British people is off the radar, So I think we will now, having had a good old rattle at Boris, and I see a Republican rocker is telling me Philadelphia freedom is ended because the masks are back. Well, actually, Republican rocker, I suspect they're coming back everywhere in the very near future, coming back to a town near you. So that's going to be interesting because I ain't worn one so far, and I'm not wearing one. And I know a lot of you are like me in this sense. But course, everyone has to make their own decisions in these things. I'm not giving you medical information, just simply stating, never worn a mask, won't be wearing a mask. Thank you very much. And some interesting comments which are being put up on the screen the screen there. You can see them. It's just a deflection from the business of the day. Okay, so shall we talk then? So as I said, I wanted to talk about Boris. I think we've given Boris a good old beating, but we're not finished. No, we're not finished. What do you mean you're not finished, David? No, we're not finished. See, okay. Whenever Boris Johnson came to power in November of 2019, seems such, or December 2019, such a long time ago, friends, such a long time ago. Remember, folks, we're going to take back control of Britain's borders. Remember all those, Churchillian Boris was, he was standing up. We're going to get control back of our borders. Since then, of course, border control has gone out of kilter. The southern border of the UK is wide open to anybody who wants to chug along in their dinghy, hop on the sands and say, take me to the nearest Britannia hotel, right? So Boris said that, and we know that the hashtag pure blood. Remember, if you are a pure blood and you want to show your pure blood credentials, there you go. Pure blood badges available from yours truly. Put your heart, wear your heart on your sleeve. On your sleeve. Billy Piper talks about Hotel Rwanda. Well, is it? I get the mix. Is it Wakanda or Rwanda? I'm never sure. I think it's Rwanda, but it might be Wakanda. So now, back to the story. So the story is, this amused me enormously. This is the British government said, we're going to get a grip on this. We're going to stop all this illegal migration. We're going to pay the French a couple of $100 million. They're going to help us sort it out. So then in 2020 and 2021, the numbers coming here illegally increased. Yeah, increased. Oh, that's weird, isn't it? So the government came to power saying they were going to crack down on illegal migration. And what we've got is even more illegal migration. Okay, that's interesting. But don't worry, Priti Patel is in power. Now, those of you who don't know Priti Patel, she's another on the make conservative opportunist who models herself on the Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher. And she had a plan. Her plan is very, very simple. She 3 goals to get to her plan. Her plan was basically people would come to the UK from France in dinghies, illegals, from usually sub-Saharan Africa or some such place where the UK and others have caused mischief, by the way. So a certain degree of sympathy with them. But they shouldn't be coming here illegally. Nobody should be coming here illegally. And she said, well, look, the new plan is going to be this. If you come here illegally, we're going to send you to Rwanda. Yes, it was announced last week. Again, when those Partygate allegations were swirling around. Don't worry about it, folks. We are going to send you illegals to Rwanda, which is quite a distance away, by the way. I'm worried about the carbon footprint. You know, if we want to save the planet, and remember, Greta Thunberg has told us that the polar bears are dying because too many people are flying. Priti Patel wants to fly people to Rwanda. But then there's a twist. So we're going to bring up the twist. This is great. This is fantastic. Listen up to this. So, what can I say? Some of this stuff, the scripts write themselves. I don't have to do anything here. So good news, everybody. Britain is to take refugees from Rwanda, right? Not to Rwanda, from Rwanda, in Priti Patel's migrant shake-up under agreement to grant asylum to the most vulnerable. Hi, Peter Stewart, by the way. Good to see you, my friend in Holland. Captain Spaulding says, at least it's sunny there. Well, yeah, but I do remember there was an incident happened in the 1990s in Rwanda. Do you guys remember that? Genocide. Yeah, shush. It's a nirvana. I mean, but yeah, so Priti Patel has done a deal. So let's just study this a little bit because it is hilarious. So people granted asylum by Rwanda. can come to the UK. All right. Right. So that's taking control back of British borders, allowing people seek. And okay, these people in Rwanda, what are they seeking asylum from exactly? I'd like to know. Well, it doesn't really say. It's a reciprocal deal. So basically, we're going to send roughly, I think it's about, there's about 60,000 migrants, illegal migrants coming to the UK this year, roughly forecast, right? They're planning to send about 500 of them to Rwanda, males, single males. How do they prove that? How does the government prove they are single males? They could just rock up on our beaches and say, oh, yeah, I'm married. I'm a married man. You can't deport me because my wife's coming on the next dinghy from downtown third world. So don't dare deport me. And I reckon the human rights lawyers would be all over that one, and they'd be saying, yeah, you're dead right. Yeah, we have to stay. So anyway, the government says it's going to deport 500. It'll deport none of them, right? But, Chris Davey says he's off. His Ukrainian family has just arrived from Kyiv. Okay, Chris, well, good luck with your Ukrainian family. I hope it all works out. I'm sure nothing can possibly go wrong with our dear Ukrainian friends. So just trying to catch up. So this is the Priti Patel master plan. So 500 of them go over there, and then this is in the detail of the article. If we scroll down the article, it's really interesting. Britain has agreed to take refugees from Rwanda. Right, we know that. Those who fled war or persecution or were granted asylum status by Rwanda will be able to come to the UK. All right, so essentially any African peoples anywhere in Africa who go to Rwanda saying we're fleeing war in whichever neighboring country it is, and let's face it, there's a lot of volatility there, they can then claim asylum and come to the UK. Perfect. What a brilliant scheme. The crucial detail in the agreement's small print could lead critics to reappraise the agreement. Well, it might do. So allowing essentially unlimited asylum seekers from Rwanda to come to the UK might lead to some criticism. So let's talk about this. The participants will make arrangements for the UK to resettle a portion of Rwanda's most vulnerable refugees in the UK, recognizing both participants' commitment towards providing better international protection for refugees. Yeah, so essentially the UK is a dumping ground for Rwanda. That's interesting. Okay, here's a bit that's interesting. Now, get this bit. However, the agreement states there's no limit. Get that. It's been highlighted by our producer here, friends. No limit. The refugees who are brought to this country are likely to be those who with the most complex needs. Complex needs? What the hell does that mean? Such as those with physical or mental health problems. Oh, right. Right. That makes it clear then. So we're going to bring people in with mental issues from Rwanda as part of the deal to deport a small portion of those who are coming to the UK. It is, as Brummy Pilgrim points out over on the Gettrs, it's the Clergy Plan 101. And well, yes, absolutely. John Flynn makes the excellent point here that Rwanda could do what the Cubans done to America, empty their jails. Absolutely right, John Flynn. And the UK has signed us up to the deal. Yes, Dave Barker. Well, we could talk about it. We'll have plenty of time to talk about elections, I'm sure, between now and the 5th of May, when there are UK-wide elections, most parts of the UK. So Billy Piper's right. He says, okay, so this is a good scheme. It depends what you prefer. Both people are psychotic Rwandans. Oh, well, what can I say? Billy, I kind of have to agree with you on this one. It's, look, the way I see it is that this government is not serious about protecting our borders. Like, it's really not. It has pretended to do this, and people bought into this. People were saying, oh yes, at last, with Boris in charge, we're going to stop them coming across the channel. They're not. They're not. But now we're going to bring them in from Rwanda as well. And by the way, the other thing Johnson said, it's not in this article, but he said this by the by, that the Royal Navy is now going to be in charge of policing what happens back and forth in the English Channel. And superficially, you hear that and you think, the Royal Navy, great. And then you think about it a bit harder. And what it means is the Royal Navy will be escorting the dinghy people to the shores of Britain, to Dover, to wherever. So that's mad. It's absolutely bad. Here's what needs to happen. And I've said this, those of you who follow me, I've been saying this for years. We need a ring of steel in that English Channel, right? Let's just be blunt about it. A ring of steel, and no dinghy will pass. They should all be turned around and sent back to France. We should stop paying the French millions of pounds so they can laugh at us, because that's exactly what's happening. We need to muscle up. We need to get tough. We need to show the fact that we're serious, but we're not. The awful thing is, as I say, we know about clergy. We know about the open borders narrative. We know about all of that. And so I believe this government's enthusiastic to bring in as much migration, legal or illegal, as possible. So once you understand that, then you understand that nothing will be done about immigration. You know, they'll posture and they'll preen. They'll come up with headline-grabbing schemes like this, which are ran through the fake stream media. Nobody challenges it. Nobody asks awkward questions. Now, of course, and the way it works is, and this is how the two-party system works against you. You've got those on the left saying, oh, this is wicked, this is wicked. You've got the Archbishop of Canterbury, Welby, an absolute moral disgrace. Justin Welby, Archbishop of Canterbury, saying, oh, this is so unchristian. Well, hang on a second, Justin Welby. First of all, shouldn't you be attending to the fact that your Church of England parishes across the UK are virtually empty because you've turned off people who actually do have faith? They don't want to go to your churches. They see them for what they are. Whited sepulchres, by the way. Check that one out if you want to Google it. Whited sepulchres. And so Welby saying, oh, no, we mustn't do that. So there's the lefties. The lefty outrage is over here. And that allows the Tories to posture then as, well, we're tough. We're putting them on the next flight to Rwanda. The Archbishop of Wokebury says, Richie Doop. Yes, Richie, he is indeed the Archbishop of Wokebury. And I agree with Richie, by the way, when he says the Royal Navy, Border Force, RNLI, they are all servants to the globalists. Amen, Richie. You're absolutely right about these people. That's exactly what they are. There was a time, maybe naively, I thought, well, these people, it's all very reasonable. They're good, patriotic institutions. They're not. They've been bought over. They are corrupted. And Dave Barker, I agree with you. The Queen abandoned her coronation oath years ago, arguably decades ago, I would think, possibly. It's become very manifest in recent times. But talk about the Queen. There's lots of things we could say about the Queen. Don't think we want to get into that one tonight as well. But, I've got questions. And Brummy Pilgrim says, Welby is not a genuine evangelical. I don't think Welby's a Christian. I don't think he is. Just like I don't think the Pope's a Christian either. I think he's something different. It's unfortunately, wolves coming dressed as sheep. But yeah, we do. Chris Davies saying the Queen is not well. Oh, I agree with that, Chris. It's just how not well she is, right? Now, I'm not going into this one. I'm not going to allow myself to fall down that rabbit hole, but I wonder just how unwell she is. She looks a bit different these days. But Republican Rocker, back on the nation of as regards the Pope. Hi, James Jameson. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat line. As regards the way this works, so the so-called conservatives come up with a stupid plan. The left then object to the stupid plan, and everyone runs around in the middle. Nobody actually turns around and says, hang on a second, you're ignoring the fundamental issue here. The fundamental issue is simple. You came to power on a promise to stop illegal migration. It's increased. And now what you're planning to do is to bring in legal asylum seeking from Rwanda. How does that even work? You know, and as Billy Piper referred earlier, I mean, well, the government said itself, it will most likely bring in Rwandans with big issues, physical and mental. Well, nothing could go wrong with that. Absolutely nothing could go wrong with that. By the way, just as again, to divert down another rabbit hole, I just read in the press today about the murder of two Irishmen in the Irish town of Sligo. If any of you know Sligo, over in the west of Ireland. These two guys, they were gay men. They had met up with this individual online. He met up with them and he cut their heads off. Yeah, he did. It's in the news. Fact checkers on YouTube. It's just in the news. Of course, he was an Irish citizen, but not recently arrived from the Middle East. But there's lots of issues. Most likely climate change caused them to cut their heads off. I would think it's probably climate change. Maybe it's Putin. It's one of those things for definite. That's what causes people to act like that. So when we bring all these Rwandans into the UK, it's going to be fine. It's all going to work out fine. And it's a triumph of conservative diplomacy and conservative visionary. James Jameson makes a very, very good point. Diversity is not a strength. To be clear, diversity is a weakness. I've always said this. I know certain media channels don't like it, but that's just the way it is. Diversity is how they destroy the integrity and the bonds that hold our societies together. And they know that. They know that. They know diversity is a Trojan horse weapon. So let's see. Let's move on then. I think we've given the conservative. We've really beaten them up, haven't we? We've given them. Okay, let's move to America. So all you Americans watching this one, or who will watch this one in replay, hopefully, and do share this. By the way, share this, put this out. Make sure as many people in the universe get to watch this this 1 hour demented ramblings as possible. Right? I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about Joe Biden. So to talk about Joe Biden, I think we have a couple of clips of Joe Biden. I think is the first. Yeah, okay. So we're going to bring you up in a second. Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden is, well, you know, as Zelensky has said, look, you need to come over to Ukraine, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But I wanted to play this short clip, if I can, of Joseph Biden. Joseph Biden shaking hands with his invisible friend. Yeah, did you know that? There's an invisible friend that accompanies Joe everywhere he goes. Joe's very friend. Joe is very fond of his invisible friend. And now, can we just play the clip? Go.
America. God bless you all.
Okay, folks, that's a somewhat choppy clip, but yeah, Joe turns around, as you do. I'm always holding out to shaking hands with people that aren't there. But this is the leader of the free world. What an embarrassment. I feel so sorry for honestly, American friends, I'm so embarrassed by Boris Johnson, the leader of the, well, so-called leader, not my leader of the Prime Minister of the UK. But this guy, this potato that you've got in the White House is grim beyond words. So I saw that clip, right? I just wanted to play that one, but then I saw this other one. So this is, again, we're going to get to Ukraine in a second, but remember, Joseph Biden, the most powerful man in the world, right? Okay, that was a bit of a misfortune, but you know, come on, man, give him a break. He's from Scranton. He's a working class dude. He's a blue collar guy who salted away how many hundreds of millions? Oh, well, let's not talk about that. So back to the potato. And this is a clip I want to play you now of Biden being upstaged by the Easter Bunny. key. Watch. The thing about it is, the Easter Bunny has got more gravitas than Joe Biden. And also, you couldn't really hear the sound in that one. The sound's not great, but Biden looked a bit angry. He looked angry. The Easter Bunny upstaged him. Oh God! I mean, I'm so sorry, American friends. I really am. It's just so grim. It's so grim. So there we have Biden. In the space of a couple of days, he's yeah. Well, I agree with Craig, who says he's not the leader of the free world. We are not subservient to the U.S. Well, we're subservient at this point in time. I think, Craig, we're all under the jackboot of the globalist world order. But you know what I mean. But yeah, back to Richie says that was Biden auditioning for the Sixth Sense sequel. So you have Biden in the space of a few days shaking hands with someone who isn't there, looking absolutely lost, just wandering around aimlessly. And then I think it was yesterday or today. Yesterday was it? The Easter Bunny upstages him, and the Easter Bunny looks good. Can I just say, I wonder how many of you would agree with me. I'd sooner the Easter Bunny was in the White House directing US policy than Joseph Biden. I think that would be better for the world in general, the US in particular. And Joe Biden could then spend his final years in a retirement home for the bewildered, where his wife and nurse, Dr. Jill Biden, who in no way looks like Alice Cooper. Dr. Jill Biden could then look after him. And I think that would be fine. Oh, Baz, you're right. Dementia isn't funny. I completely get that. My mother died of dementia, right? So I know what I speak of when we speak of dementia. And it's not a funny thing. What I'm laughing at is the insanity of the entire political deck, if you know what I mean. I'm just laughing at all of it, because there's two options you have. You can laugh at it or you can go crazy. I'm not going crazy. So, whoops, hang on a second. All right, I hope my Wi-Fi, folks, has stabilized, by the way. Good news, guys. I will be getting hyper-fast Wi-Fi in the next 6 months. So you've got to put up with me being grainy and things not being crystal clear. And maybe that's a good thing for about 6 months. And then you will get me super duper clear and whatnot. So Debbie says, if we don't laugh, we cry. Exactly. As I say, I'm not laughing at dementia, and for obvious reasons, from a family perspective, I'm sure you'll respect that. But by the same token, you know, if Biden's demented, he shouldn't be in office, right? He shouldn't be in office. The Democrat Party shouldn't put him in that position. So that's why he's caught out by someone dressed in Apollo. Richie Dupe says the bunny was in dress. Was it a transgender? Well, actually, Richie, how do we know it was a bunny? I mean, I'm not a biologist. I can't tell you if that rabbit was actually a rabbit. It could have been a fox. It could have been a fox. Could have been an elephant. Remember, and we mustn't judge. It's so important, especially on the YouTubes. We must never judge. So yeah, so I'm not sure if that was a rabbit or not. As I say, I'm not a biologist. But anyway, so that was in the space of a couple of days. Yes, Billy, the 25th Amendment needs to be enacted. He should be removed from office. I actually think, on a serious note, it would be a kindness to him. If you look back at Biden, going back even 10 years ago, he was much more with it. Even going back 5 years ago. But the awful nature of dementia is it's a creeping illness, and it does take away mental sharpness. Now, that doesn't matter if you're in a retirement home. It's okay. You can still lead a life and have your loved ones around you. But if you're president of the United States, you've got huge pressures on you. Absolutely. Huge pressures. State of 77 is suggesting that was Kamala Harris in the Easter Bunny costume. Brilliant. Best comment of the night. Of course, actually, yeah, Brummy Pilgrim, I identify as a rabbit anyway. How dare you suggest I'm a human being? I am a rabbit identifying, and yes, indeed, it may well have been, that may well have been Kamala in the rabbit suit. How would we know? Well, did the rabbit cackle? That's what I would like to know. Did the rabbit cackle? If the rabbit cackled, it is absolutely certain that, yeah, Debbie says the 20th Amendment needs to be enacted, but Kamala is worse. Oh, she absolutely is. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, there's so many good comments here. James Jameson says, this man has fingers on the nuclear button. I would rather the Easter Bunny had his finger or his paw, assuming he's a rabbit, on the nuclear button. I absolutely would. So Chris Davies is saying, apparently Jimmy Hoffa now regrets voting for Biden. Let's remember, Chris Davies, this was the most legitimate election there has ever been. But Billy Piper says this was covered in detail in the 1997 film Air Force One. Saw it, watched that one. Mind you, it's a long time ago. Brummy Pilgrim says the rabbit was too efficient. It wasn't Kamala. I suspect it was Kamala. She might. No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. Yeah, Richie. No. I'm not going into the Kamala jokes because we know that Kamala is a much loved, much respected person. The odd thing is that even though Joe Biden is massively unpopular, right? His approval rating is through the floor. There's one person whose approval rating is worse than his. Can you guess who that is? Yeah, Kamala Harris. So I don't know. Sooner we get Donald Trump back in the White House, the better, I think. And, don't get me wrong. I'm not a complete fanboy for Donald Trump, but by and large, it's a bit like with Elon Musk, actually. Don't agree with everything, but on some things, they're on the right side. Billy Piper thinks Kamala is hot, though. But, Billy, you also suggested that Angela Vena might be hot as well. So I'm going to have to ask questions about your definition of hotness. Trying to just see the comments here, folks. I'm trying to read all that you guys are saying. So anyway, so Joe Biden upstaged by a rabbit. Right. Let's bring up the headline. So this is good. So we just bring up this. Here we go, folks. Zelensky, President Zelensky. Oh, we love you. We love you, President Zelensky. With your authoritarianism, you so impress us. He thinks Biden will visit Ukraine and claims, drumroll, Kyiv. Have you got that? Kyiv has substantial evidence that Russian troops committed genocide in Bucha and other occupied towns. So there we go. Hands up all who would like to see Joseph Biden going to Ukraine. I do. I want to see him go there. I really want to see that. I want to see Biden go there because for several reasons. One, he won't know where he is. So that's going to be fantastic. So he could think, theoretically, he could think he's anywhere. Two, his inability to grasp any of the nuances around Ukraine will be a right laugh. So I'll enjoy that. So I'll be fun watching him. I wondered, like, God knows, maybe he'll think he's in Poland. Maybe he'll think he's in Germany. I don't know. And then, of course, and this is the thing, folks, that I know, and I know that you share my sincere concerns. I mean, entering a war zone, the president would, let's hope, I'll be praying for his safety. I pray for Joseph Biden to go there and to come back and everything's going to be fine. Yeah, exactly, John Gleason. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, so I wonder will he wear a suit, like Boris Johnson? I think that would be right. Hopefully they'll go for another lovely stroll through Kyiv. Although, mind you, with those Russian bombers beginning to target the military installations around Kyiv, yeah, you might want to. Chris Davies is writing this one, by the way. You might want to wear a flak jacket over that suit, Joseph. But he says, Kyiv, nah, it's going to be another stage at the back of the White House. Well, that White House, absolutely. It'll be a green screen. It'll be a green screen visit to Ukraine, just like some people allege. Some bad people out there allege that Zelensky himself, all these videos of him strolling through downtown Kyiv, it's all on the green screen. I don't know where they get that information from. But yeah, apparently Zelensky called for Biden to visit the country. And he says he believes the commander-in-chief will make this trip. The wartime leader, oh, don't you love the media? Oh, I love the scum media. The wartime leader also said his government had substantial evidence that Russia's troops are committing genocide in Ukraine. Hey, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Oh, Gregulate says he will always say Kyiv. Hey, Gregulate, it's always Kyiv to me. Let's read this. More comments coming in here. Fun fact, a significant proportion of Russians are anti-Putin dissidents, some destined for a lifetime in the Gulag, and the same proportion of Ukrainians are pro-Putin separatists. Don't tell anyone. Absolutely, yeah. But Billy, this is the point. My point in all of this, which may be too subtle for some of these media channels, is this is a complex issue. It's really complex. It's not black and white. We're being treated like 5-year-olds by the media. Chris Davies asks, is Dr. Hartley Brewer of Talk Radio's 1st Battalion of the Ukrainian resistance, is she back from the front line? Yes, she is. She was back this morning. Chris, I listened to her, sadly, for 10 minutes before I couldn't take it anymore. Yeah, I listened to Sergeant Major Hartley Brewer, who swoons at the idea of Zelensky. So I'm sure when Biden goes there, she'll be swooning even more. Maybe not allowed to talk about the things that go in your arm. Can't talk about those things. We're on the YouTubes, I think she is delightfully lovely. Billy Piper says, "How dare you? Don't you dare criticize Julia Hartley Brewer." I'm not criticizing her. I think she's very special. Very, very special. But it's Kiev or burst. So will Joseph go to Kim? You're absolutely right. But we're not allowed to say that. You see, it goes against, I think, YouTube's terms of service to suggest that things might be not going 100% super duper in favor of Ukraine. You're not allowed to say that. And that's important, because do remember that when you're on a non-free speech platform, you're not allowed to exercise free speech. All of you watching on YouTube, please note, you do far better to be watching on the Gettrs, or at least follow me on the Gettrs, where at least none of this nonsense has to prevail, and I can actually tell you like it is. Budgie Trouser says, Gobby Hartley jam, you mean? No, I mean, look, Richie Doob says, Zelensky in a tracksuit and Boris with his floppy hair, really trying hard to appeal to us plebs. Oh, yeah, plebs, that's exactly right. They treat you as absolute plebs. But all of you guys watching this, wherever you are, you're informed, you're critical thinkers, you work it out for yourself. You might agree with my take, you might have your own take. Yes, Billy Piper, good comment, Billy. And he says, Ukraine are pushing back the military might of Russia with spud guns and plastic saws. Take that, Putin, take that. Exactly. And everyone knows that's completely reasonable. I mean, you only have to go into Telegram, for example, and you see so much evidence that Ukraine is winning. The Russians are all under retreat, honestly. And the fact that we see mass surrender in places like Mariupol of Ukrainians, that's I'm not sure. Well, why is that? But tricky, that one. Tricky. Can't explain that one. Certainly on YouTube. So I can certainly explain it to you in Gettr. And if you follow my Gettr stream or my Gab stream, you can find plenty of stuff over there on it. Ukraine sunk the top Russian ship all by itself. Absolutely, 100%. Anybody, let me tell you, friends, anyone who's suggesting that NATO might have a hand in that, they're spreading they're spreading Ukrainian misinformation, which is almost as bad as spreading medical misinformation. We mustn't do that. We fully understand that, hi, by the way, we the people, hi, who says hello to me, just joining the stream. We get all that. We get all this. So if someone was doing a multiple daily bite side plot. Chris Davey says, if only someone out there was doing a multiple daily bite-sized political podcast channel, me. Have you subscribed to these daily bite-sized? You see, bite-sized, 7-8 minutes. That's it. Then you can go on a rest, and then there'll be another one come along. Like a Ukrainian missile strike, I suppose you might say. There's always another one. Yeah, Billy Piper, get your... The thing is, I mean, honestly, see, on a serious note, there's so much that we could talk about Ukraine. And I guess, you know, for me in this one, I'm going to bring the stream to an end shortly. But, you know, don't forget our supporters, www.nothingbut.co.uk. You can get natural immunity in a healthy format. So you don't have to outsource your well-being, you know, to big pharma. Are we allowed to say that? And of course, if you do like my content, you can buy me a coffee. There's a link below. Buy me a latte with lashings of soya, please. I'd like that, one of those. And of course, the funds from that help all this madness. They help all the madness keep going as we battle our way through through this insanity, basically. As Chris Davies might understand, as I walk through this wicked world. Oh, friends, we walk through a wicked world every day, but we keep ourselves sane, and we keep ourselves sane by, I guess, trying to have a bit of a laugh about it. James Jameson, by the way, is right over in the YouTubes. He says we're closer to World War III now than since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Absolutely. 1960, it's 1963 all over again. America wasn't happy when the Soviets gave missiles to Cuba. But for some reason, and I'm not understanding it, Putin must accept that NATO can position missiles right on the edge of Russia, and that's all going to be fine. Yes, Chris, searching for light in the darkness of insanity. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, we're quoting from an Elvis Costello cover of a Nick Lowe song called What's So Funny About Peace, Love and Understanding. Well, these days, you know, there's nothing funny about it. It's something that's incredibly desirable. I oppose war. I oppose the Russian invasion of Ukraine, but I understand it. I oppose all the horrible killing. Every human life is sacred. There you go. I'm sounding more and more like John Lennon in my declining years, I suppose. But I don't think young Ukrainian people should be dying. I don't think young Russian people should be dying. I don't think we should be getting sucked in to this engineered conflagration, which I believe NATO was predominantly responsible for. I think that if you're going to have biolabs ringing Russia, biolabs which could theoretically research into all kinds of things, what do you expect Putin to do? Let me ask you a question. Those of you watching this, right? Yes, Claude says Zelensky sunk the ship with his bare hands. I had heard this, Claude. I'd heard that Zelensky had swum out. He swum out into the Sea of Azov. He'd spotted this Russian cruiser, and he jumped on board and he tore out the engine. He tore up the gun turrets, and he threw all the Russians in the sea. He swam around it in a victory lap, and then he swam back. That's what's happened. Somebody said, no, I don't know if that's fact or not. No, can't be certain. I mean, that's probably more credible than anything you'll read in the mainstream media. So, and Steve for Reform UK rightly points out, Putin No, you're absolutely wrong. Putin didn't start this war 8 years ago. I think you mean Ukraine started this war 8 years ago, because it was in 2014. In 2014, friends, let's be clear on this one, that after the flag revolution, the legitimate government of Ukraine, which NATO didn't like, the US didn't like, and the EU didn't like, was overthrown, and we got the current bunch in. And since then, by the way, not a lot of chat about the mass killings in the Donbass. Strange, that, isn't it? Wonder how we never asked. Why don't we talk about that one, by the way? Can we talk about that? Can you talk about the fact that, for example, innocent Russian-speaking men, women, and children have been massacred in Donbass by certain, the Azov battalion, and we know who they are. And the Azovs, Chris Davies, you're messing with my mind. You're finishing my sentences. Yeah, can we talk about that? No. Does it matter? No. It doesn't matter that there was slaughter in the eastern part of Ukraine carried out with the full knowledge of the Ukrainian authorities. That doesn't matter. No. It doesn't matter there was biolabs ringing Russia. That doesn't matter. No. It doesn't matter about the money laundering and the people laundering that went on, and it doesn't matter. No. All that matters is Putin equals Hitler. Yeah. Of course it does. Yeah. Oh, Chris Davies, hepatitis in children. I never seen that coming, and I can't believe that even is a thing. Hepatitis, inflammation of the is it the liver? Yeah, inflammation of the liver. Yeah, wonder what could have caused that. Global warming, I think, possibly. Someone says, you must really have swallowed Putin's BS big time, says Steve for Reform UK. Well, Steve, no, I am objective on these matters. I look at the facts of the matter, and I'm very well. Yeah, liver, information of the liver. Thanks, Billy, for that clarification. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a doctor. I can't talk about these things. I'm not a biologist. I can't talk to you about the Easter Bunny. Not possible. Yeah, Steve, I think, you maybe need to check out what happened between 2014 and 2022. Heads up, check graves in the Donbass. Right. And we leave it like that. So there you go. I think, friends, I'm simply repeating Putin's propaganda. Is that right, Steve? Tell me. So when I say I oppose the Russian invasion of Ukraine, that's me repeating Putin's propaganda. Seriously? Go and have a good hard look at yourself. Now you're beginning to waste my time. I'm repeating the fact that I value human life, and I value the lives of all those people in the Donbass who lost their lives at the merciless hands of the Azov battalion. That's the same Azov battalion cornered in Mariupol at the moment and on the way to potentially be like the dodo. But there you go. Anyway, folks, we have gone past the allocated time, massively gone past it. But I like to have a ramble. Don't forget, the daily podcasts are down below, so you can check me out there on a daily basis. Sign up; it's all for free. It's all for free. Steve for Reform UK, and I ain't gonna agree on this one at all. Chris Davey says he misses the trolls. Well, Chris, up to that point, I certainly don't miss the Twitter trolls who follow me on to Gettr, by the way. It's touchy, it's sweet. It's sweet. Peter Stewart in Holland, goodbye to you. Don't forget to check out our sponsors. There they are. We're trying to keep things on the wheels on this vehicle, friends. And last but not least, if you want to support the platform directly, you can buy me a coffee. The link is down below. Hope you've enjoyed this Gettr YouTube thing. I thought Steve for Reform UK saying, I think, oh, Steve, hi. I didn't recognize who you were. So Steve is gonna, and Steve for Reform UK, and I think maybe gonna have a head-to-head on Hearts of Oak. Yes, Hearts of Oak, because we have radically different views over Russia and Ukraine and all of that. So I think there may be a head-to-head debate over on. Hi, Leslie. Thanks for being here. So look out for that one there. Anyway, look, friends, that's it. I have to go. But thank you all for being here. For my critics, thank you for being here. For my supporters, thank you for being here. Wherever you've watched this, thanks for taking the time to watch a discussion. It's really nice to spend this little time with you, and hope that you are all well. And we shall catch up again on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Put it in your diary. Make it a date. Who knows what madness we'll get up to then. I'm not sure if we can top the Easter Bunny, but we'll do our best. In the meantime, guys, thanks again. And that's good night from moi. Au revoir.